Why didn't Kratos save his family at the end of God of War 2 when he had the power to control time? Why didn't he go back in time to save his family from death the same way he went back in time to save himself from Zeus? Let's talk about that. But before I do that, I want to let you all know that I have been uploading a lot of gaming content as of late. Don't worry, I'll still be doing more God of War content just like this, but I would appreciate if you guys showed those videos the same amount of support and appreciation you show my God of War videos. Also, like and subscribe. Anyway, notice what Kratos uses to turn back time at the end of God of War 2. He uses a thread. In God of War 2, the Fates control the threads of mortal lives. Once a mortal's thread is cut, it signifies the irreversible severance of their life. This means that no god, not even Kratos with a loom of fate, can bring back a mortal whose thread has been cut. His family's threads were cut when Ares tricked him into killing them, marking their deaths as an immutable event in the timeline. But what about Ares? Ares is killed by Kratos in God of War 1. And in God of War 2, the Fates send Kratos back in time to his fight with Ares and attempt to change his past and make it so that Kratos didn't win the fight, implying that if the Fates had succeeded in doing so, altering the past so that Kratos' fight with Ares ended up with Kratos' defeat instead of Ares' death, Ares would be saved and brought back to life. But this contradicts what we just talked about. Wasn't Ares' thread cut? Wouldn't that make it impossible for Ares to be brought back to life? Why would the Fates have been able to bring back Ares, as implied in God of War 2, but Kratos not be able to save his family? You see, the Fates' decision to interfere with Kratos' fight with Ares didn't involve altering a mortal's death, but rather manipulating the divine fate of a god. Mortal threads once cut are irreversibly severed, as per the laws of the loom. Kratos' family's deaths are bound by these laws. No matter how much control the Fates wield or how much power Kratos gains, mortal deaths are a permanent fixture in the timeline. The Fates' influence over gods differ from their influence over mortals. Gods, being immortal, don't have threads of life that can be cut in the same way. Instead, their fates are determined by prophecy and divine intervention. Kratos' ability to rewrite history and save himself after Zeus kills him aligns with the unique nature of gods in the God of War universe. Unlike mortals, gods are not governed by the strict severance of threads upon death. Again, gods are tied to prophecy and divine intervention, meaning their deaths and fates are malleable under specific conditions. When Kratos rewrites his death, he is leveraging this divine loophole. In contrast, his family's death fall under the immutable rules of mortal threads. Once severed, a mortal's thread cannot be reattached, even by the loom of fate. This distinction between gods and mortals is central to the laws of fate in the series. Saving his family would require more than just reversing time. It would mean undoing their deaths entirely and creating a paradox. Their deaths are the catalyst for Kratos' entire journey, and undoing them would unravel the timeline entirely. The Fates' actions in God of War 2 suggest that divine events can be rewritten to preserve the balance of power among the gods, but mortal lives are governed by stricter, immutable rules. Kratos could rewrite moments of divine importance, but his family's deaths are fixed points in the time that even a loom cannot undo. Saving his family would create a paradox that could unravel Kratos' own timeline. Their deaths are the foundation of his journey, his hatred for the gods, and his eventual path to revenge. Allowing himself to save them would eliminate the very reasons for his rise to power, potentially erasing his own existence in the process. Okay, fine. But as a god of Olympus, when Kratos ruled as the god of war among the other Olympians before he was betrayed by Zeus, why didn't Kratos go visit his family in the Underworld? After Kratos opened Pandora's box in God of War, he unleashed its contents upon the gods, including fear, envy, and other corrupting influences. This fear profoundly impacted Zeus and the other Olympians. Zeus in particular became paranoid about Kratos' growing power and his potential to overthrow him. This fear would have led Zeus to impose strict control over Kratos' actions during his time as a god, likely including forbidding him from visiting realms like the Underworld, which could allow him to gain further power or connections. Kratos was a newly appointed god, and the Olympians likely did not fully trust him. Unlike the other gods who existed for eons and were part of the established divine order, Kratos was a mortal who ascended to godhood through vengeance and defiance. This made him an outlier among the Olympians, and they would have monitored him so closely to prevent any actions that could disrupt their order. Hades, as the ruler of the underworld, was one of Zeus's most loyal brothers. If Zeus explicitly banned Kratos from accessing the underworld to visit his family, Hades would have obeyed without question. Additionally, Hades' role as the keeper of the dead meant that he would not allow anyone, not even a god, to interfere with the natural order of death without Zeus's explicit approval. And besides, Kratos killed Hades' wife, so Hades probably wouldn't have been thrilled to have Kratos over anyway. The Olympians' treatment of Kratos' family extended to their imprisonment of his brother Deimos by Thanatos. This shows a clear pattern of withholding information and control over Kratos' personal connections. It's likely that Zeus and the Olympians deliberately kept Kratos isolated, fearing that contact with his loved ones would either strengthen his resolve against them or reveal truths they wanted to keep hidden. I understand that Kratos had visited his daughter before in Chains of Olympus, but those circumstances were different. In Chains of Olympus, Kratos' visit to Elysium and his reunion with Calliope were orchestrated by Persephone, who sought to manipulate him into abandoning his mission and destroying Olympus. This manipulation allowed Kratos access to a realm that would otherwise have been forbidden to him. After he rejected Persephone's plan and reclaimed his godhood, Kratos likely forfeited any special access to Elysium. Without Persephone's intervention, he would have needed Zeus's approval, which he never received. Okay, fine. But why did Kratos not go visit his family after he killed Hades in God of War 3 and freeing the souls from the realm of the dead? When Kratos killed Hades, he destroyed the barrier that kept souls confined in the underworld. These souls were released, but this does not mean they returned to life or were easily accessible. The souls, including those of his wife and daughter, would have been scattered or faded into the void as suggested by the chaotic nature of the underworld post Hades' death. Without Hades to govern the realm, the underworld likely lost its structure, making it impossible for Kratos to locate and reunite with his family in the afterlife. Without a proper resting place like Elysium or Tartarus, souls dissolve into nothingness, returning to primordial chaos from which all creation sprang. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more content just like this. Join as a member for special perks, and yeah, I would appreciate it so much if you guys tuned into my gaming videos. I'm trying to expand the channel, appeal to a larger audience, and your love and support is greatly appreciated.